So we're going to start out in Syria because a lot of papers are focusing on the fighting in Aleppo there.
That's right, and there's one photo that you're seeing all over the press today, and it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. It's a photo of a little girl who's a terrified little girl who's being carried away from the scene of an attack allegedly by the Syrian government, an attack that rebels say killed several children. Here it is also on the front page of the International Herald Tribune today, so that very same photo there. Inside the International Herald Tribune has a drawing that's very critical of the international community today, critical of their inaction. And you see Bashar al-Assad there really beating a Syrian. Meanwhile, the international community is standing by not watching. And one of them is saying it's hard to cover your ears and your eyes at the same time.
Well, meanwhile, an alleged Israeli attack inside Syrian territory also getting a lot of attention.
That's right. We're going to take a look at an article in the Sharq al-Awsat, which is a pan-Arab paper based in London, a piece by Tariq al-Umayyad. Now, he's surprisingly more critical of Syria than Israel for this attack, and he says that Israel's air raid on Syria can't be considered surprising. It's Bashar al-Assad's regime that dragged Syria into this, all to make it seem like what's happening in the country is the result of a foreign scheme. And he looks at the implications of this attack. First of all, if the alleged attack was indeed targeting arms that were destined for Hezbollah and Lebanon, perhaps this is a sign that Bashar al-Assad really feels like he has his back against the wall. Also, it's proof that Israel is monitoring the situation on the ground very closely.
Okay, well, we're going to stay in the region because tensions, of course, on the rise in Egypt as well after footage emerged of the police beating a protester.
That's right. Now, Gulf News' editorial is dedicated to this, and it says that Egyptians should not be denied the right to protest, and it harshly condemns the fact that this demonstrator was beat up just because he was demonstrating. The editorial says this is a reminder of what it was like under the Mubarak regime, and it brings President Mohamed Morsi's leadership into question, according to Gulf News.
Okay, well, moving on to another story now. The newspapers reacting to that news last week that the New York Times website was allegedly attacked for 4 months by Chinese hackers.
That's right. Now, this is the Independent's editorial today. It takes a look at the rise of cyber espionage. Now, this news from the New York Times was posted on their website last week, and it says it was hacked after it published an article that outlined how the Prime Minister, Wen Jiabao, how his family has amassed a fortune worth multi-billion dollars. And according to the Independent, this news gives credibility to a remark that the Google CEO, Eric Schmidt, made. He says that China is both the world's most active internet censor, but also the most prolific and sophisticated hacker. Now, the Independent points out that China is not the only one that's waging cyber warfare. You also have Iran, Russia, but also Israel, European countries, and, of course, the United States as well. And the New York Times, speaking of the United States and cyber warfare, takes a look at just what kind of powers Obama has and will have facing these cyber crimes. Now, in the coming weeks, the administration is going to approve the nation's first rules for how the military can defend or retaliate in the face of such cyber crimes. And it says that President Obama is going to have quite a lot of power. He's going to be able to order a preemptive strike if the United States detects credible evidence of an imminent strike. So it sounds like a sci-fi movie, but it's a testimony to just how seriously the United States is taking the cyber warfare.
Things having to evolve as that continues. But finally, international papers focusing also on Mariano Rajoy, the Spanish Prime Minister. He's in hot water over corruption allegations.
Absolutely. So Saturday, he gathered the top brass in his party to explain himself, and he denied all these charges that he's involved his party in this wide-ranging corruption scandal. Journalists who attended this meeting were surprised to find that they actually weren't going to attend his actual speech. They were put in a room, and you can see a photo there where you see journalists in this room, this press room, where Rajoy is not. There's just a video of him giving his speech and an empty pulpit. There you see them. So as you can imagine, journalists were really unhappy about this and took their revenge on Twitter and Photoshop. And we're going to take a look at a couple of fun tweets that they had. For instance, here's one where you see him at the Republican National Convention with Clint Eastwood. He's in the empty chair. Perhaps that moment would have been a little less awkward, or more, who knows. So there's also another one where you see him with the king, the Spanish king there. And my personal favorite is him with Angela Merkel. There he is.
Excellent, very funny. Twitter, can't beat it. Thank you very much indeed, Florence, for that look at today's international newspapers. Still to come here on Live from Paris, business news.